We're finally here. This was a long time coming.
Oh, I haven't gotten a date in like, 6 months. I'm kind of just like, what? There's something wrong here. But it was really during that time GamZuli really came about. And I kid you not, my wife has a dream. And that dream is GamZuli.
Sarah and Max, an unlikely pair in this wild podcast. They're the perfect flair. Sarah's charm, so feminine and free. A Cali girl spirit under the podcast tree. Max a strong force with a punch in every word. Together they navigate this dating absurd. Don't forget to hit subscribe, join the crew for more laughs and tales just for you. Now back to the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Good for Shidduchim. I'm your host, Sarah Levine. I have my co-host with me, Max Landisman, and we also have a very special guest with us. He is the founder and basically also one of the creators behind GamZuli, what we've been talking about. It's Rabbi Levi that we have with us, so we're very excited. Very special guest to have with us. If you guys want to find us on Instagram, we're Good for Shidduchim on Instagram. Also, email us your thoughts, your feelings about every episode. And our email is goodforshidduchim@gmail.com. And like us, subscribe to our page wherever you hear podcasts. And without further ado, welcome Rabbi Levi.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. Great to be here.
It's an honor for us to have you.
Yeah, we're really excited for you to be here. And again, like Max said, it's definitely an honor. Okay,
we've been talking about GamZuli for way before even now, because I remember the first time when it came out where I'm like, oh wow, an app that doesn't suck. Well, it's phenomenal. I mean, it doesn't ask me if I'm modern Orthodox, Machmir, modern Orthodox, middle of the road. Nobody cares because nobody knows what that means anyways. You guys actually asked real questions, so we're finally here. This was a long time coming.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
We are, yes, absolutely. Meaning what, and I'd say just to like highlight that a little bit more, like the whole idea, it really comes from how can we make this as easy for the user as possible? Like that's where it was coming from. And yeah, of course, what does it mean? I'm modern Orthodox Neo-Hasidic Machmir. Like I have no clue. Oh, so you'll be good for this shidduch? Like what does that even mean? So yes, absolutely.
I'm modern Orthodox Neo-Hasidic Machmir, but don't keep kosher.
right, even more so.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But okay, so let's just ask you, we wanted to just find out a little bit about yourself, wanted to know like where you're from and basically like how your path has paved the way to where you are today and how you formulated GamZuli through all of that.
For sure. So I could give you like the long version, but like I'll try to like cut it down a little bit. So initially,
give us whatever version you want. Whatever version you want.
Okay. Originally, I am from Berkeley, California. So, I mean, maybe I like to think that like really out of the box. My family moved to Chicago, so I spent a lot of time there. I was in Ida Crown for my high school. So shout out to Ida Crown, people know, and then eventually I got to New York. I was there for a long time. That's kind of like maybe like where our story maybe kind of like crystallizes a little bit more in terms of GamZuli. And now I'm from Israel. So like slowly making my way across the world, slowly making my way east to the Holy Land. I'm not hoping to go any further east than where I am right now. So.
Yeah, you're good where you are.
Right. Maybe to Jerusalem, but I'll stay in Beit Shemesh,
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up pretty okay. I know we don't like to talk about like boxes and like where do you put yourself, but I guess if I were to use the colloquial terms, so like modern Orthodox light, and through that process,
modern Orthodox light.
Yeah, I like it. Right? I like it.
That's a new one for me.
Yeah, there was definitely certain things that like growing up, like I just didn't know about. And that it has more to do like where my parents came from and whatnot. Like ripping toilet paper on Shabbos was just not really on my radar so much. But like other things were. So it's like, it's kind of interesting how, sometimes when you're in, I hate to use just because I am like an out of towner, right? So I hate to use the out of town.
I mean, so am I. It's fine.
Okay. So, where are you from, Sarah?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Oh, you're from Pittsburgh. Okay, fine. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. Are we allowed to do this? Are we allowed to like kind of like segue a little bit, like Squirrel Hill
Yeah,
or
we're allowed
like
to. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, Squirrel Hill? Isn't that the spelling
Yeah,
lot? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
fine. So
yeah.
Safian, you know the name? Yeah. I don't know, maybe take
Yes,
all this.
yes.
Yes. Okay. My
Jewish?
sister married Safian.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I
Oh,
hope he's
oh,
Jewish.
very
Nice, nice.
nice.
So small
I
world
think,
after all, I guess. Yeah, or if you know, I don't know.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they're modern Orthodox or they're conservative.
Yeah,
Modern
yeah.
Orthodox light.
Modern Orthodox light. Yeah, very good. That's definitely where I
Oh,
put my.
okay.
It's
Because
so
I
funny.
I thought that family, I remember that family from like my conservative days, but I could
Okay.
be wrong. I could just be blending families now. Like I could
There,
be blending communities now.
if I'm not
But it's
mistaken, there's
okay
a
either way. Yeah, for
right.
sure. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a Rabbi Wasserman out there. Maybe. Yeah,
He
there
was
was.
there. He actually made
Okay.
Aliyah to
Man.
Ashdod, and then Rabbi
Okay.
Genack actually just
Oh, Rabbi
became
Genack.
the rabbi of
Oh.
Shari Torah.
So Rabbi
Yeah.
Wasserman was the Masada Kedushin at my sister's wedding, and I
Oh,
thought he was there
wow.
because of him. So okay, whatever, like
Oh,
Shidduchim,
wow.
Shidduchim.
so.
Yeah,
That's so nice. Small world.
Small world
Yes.
yeah,
after all. Okay,
yeah.
fine. Very
Yeah,
good. All
yeah.
right, no, so that was also me like, okay, so you really are like, out of town. Meaning because like don't tell me
Yes.
like like, oh, I'm from like, Livingston, I don't know. It's
It's
still
it's funny
Right.
because
No,
I went out with a girl once who I mentioned my sister-in-law's from Pittsburgh. She's like, "What's that?"
what's that? I feel like you
ouch.
can't get more out of town than like
Ouch.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Is it in Tennessee?
Chattanooga
Chattanooga,
is
Tennessee, I
Tennessee. Yeah,
think.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to all the Jews in Chattanooga.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Shidduchim.
hear that. I totally hear that. So
Anyways, yeah. Let's get back up.
all, all of that is to say that like kind of growing up with like maybe like I would say like a little bit kind of like holes in my Judaism, as it were. So I only was like, I wouldn't even call myself like Jose B'Tshuva because like, look, like my father keeps Shabbos and puts on tefillin every day. So it's like, like, what am I talking about? We grew up keeping kosher. There was just like certain things that whatever.
Yep.
But I definitely probably moved to the right of where like my family is. I would say my sisters, they're actually like probably straight on. They just continued the course. So like, I was the one who went off. But
Right.
I say that partially because personally, when I started dating, I mean, I didn't get married till I was 27. Not that that's like, so old or anything
Right.
like that, but like I wasn't really even like in the parsha for a while because for a while I was learning in yeshivot here in Eretz Yisrael before I ended up getting to Yeshiva University, and that's when I was at YU. So I taught as a Rebbe there, and eventually I was selected to be the rabbi of the Shank Shul, which is kind of like a very young single scene in Washington Heights. It's kind of like the first stop before you either get married or you move to the Upper West Side. So like those are like the two options. Whatever, I'm generalizing here.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's a
but
nice
so
shul.
it's a
It's a
lovely
great
shul.
shul.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I only have amazing things to say about the community and like just my time there. It was, and I was the rabbi during COVID, so like meaning like for
Mm,
Oh,
three
so
years
fun
I was,
times. Yeah.
yeah, right,
that's a
uh,
challenging time.
very challenging time, but thank God, an experience that I would do over again in a heartbeat. But it was really during that time that kind of like GamZuli really came about, and it came about for like a couple of things. First off, just having a lot of young singles in the community. So like, look, as the rabbi of the shul, I'm always inviting people over. Like, that's I think what rabbis should do. I think that's what all Jews should do is invite people over, regardless of what their need may be, or if there's no need. Like we should just always be inviting people over. I think that's what Avraham Avinu would want.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Yeah,
but
not a
so
lot of
like.
people have that like mindset or mind frame, so that's really nice to have.
Yeah, no, thanks. Hopefully, if you're in the rabbinic business, you have such a mindset. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But so like meaning having a lot of singles over, and then I would say there was probably at least like 30 guys who I was a reference for. Like meaning on a crazy week, I would probably be doing 5 to 7 hours of like people calling me and having to like talk
Holy
Shidduchim and
hell.
whatnot like, on a busy week, but like then again there'd be weeks where like nobody would call me. So like, but like meaning to say like I was very in the scene, and this is kind of all going on in my mind. I'll tell you one for me. One of the things that like really hit me. I remember I had this one. We had a lot of girls over. And she must have been like maybe 28 or something like that. She was at Columbia when Columbia was still okay. And she was finishing her med school. And she says to me, "Oh, I haven't gotten a date in like 6 months." And whatever, I would say she was a very eligible woman. And I said, "You're probably really picky." And she said, "No, no, no. Like my shotgun hasn't given me a date in 6 months." I'm kind of just like, what? Like that? There's something wrong here, you know? And I wish I could say that was like in Hebrew you say like pamba, like once in like in a blue moon or something, but it wasn't. like I've heard this story before, and it was kind of like with that in mind that like GamZuli kind of started to maybe take its roots. And really, what happened was one Friday night we had a whole bunch of guys over, whatever singles, and these were older guys, like probably at the time I was already maybe I was probably about 30 then, and these guys were already like north of 30, and they're like, like, hey, how this is so hard and whatnot, and all the woes of from dating, and okay, say goodbye, go to bed, and I kid you not, my wife has a dream, and that dream is GamZuli. The next morning, like, and mind you, this is like about 9 months before we were going to make Aliyah, and like mornings before shul on Shabbos, I'm prepping for my drasha, like I'm just going over it just to make sure like I got okay, which like I'm not reading off of something, I just want to have all the ideas clear. And she's like trying to tell me this dream, I'm like, I need to work on my drasha right now, and we're making Aliyah, so I'm not about to start like this whole like whatever this dream was. And she just wouldn't let go of it.
That is so crazy.
Shidduchim take priority.
Yeah.
She was even dreaming about shidduchim.
And I'll tell you this, like my wife, she's Sephardi, like, so like, I mean, that's like a whole other layer. She a Sephardi girl has a dream, and it's all like, Rabbi, what do I do with this? And I'm the rabbi, who's the husband as well. So that's really where GamZuli kind of like was born. So I really think it was kind of like, maybe you could say like incubated in like this space of like, well, this was very much on our radar because like we're dealing with it in so many different ways. And and my wife being like the Rebbitzin would definitely be talking with girls and whatnot, and like that whole scene. And so it's like that's where this came from. And we really decided, like, what, let's build this platform out. As crazy as this sounds, like 9 months before we're about to make Aliyah, we both have full-time jobs, it's like, okay, let's do this. And that was really kind of like the beginnings of GamZuli and kind of like where it came from.
That also where you got the name from? Was it in the dream, or the name was before?
So get this, right? There's a good story about this, or at least I think it is. My name's Matt. My wife's name is Shelly. So we thought it would be clever if the name would be Match Shelly, like in Hebrew, like my match. Right? Match Shali. Right? Well, that's what we thought would be cute. So when you do a startup, it's like, you don't know what you don't know. So when we ran it by our lawyer, he's like, nah, you can't do that. I'm like, what's such cool? And we actually had this idea, the M in the word match would like connect with the shin in like the Shelly, like the three dots.
It sounds like one of those wedding things. What are they called?
Right, like this beautiful
when you
monogram.
make your wedding and you're like looking at it and you're like, oh, that's so cool.
so that's what we thought. Who knows how good the name is, but he basically said, well, Match.com is going to sue you if you ever like, whatever. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, yeah, if you use the word match, I'm like, oh, wow. I never even knew this. Like, I never even like what? You have ownership over a word, like, and how it's being used. He basically said, better to think of another name. So, one thing that we kind of thought of with like, GamZula Tova, so much of like maybe like what people are going through, and it's just like, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? And okay, we're Jews here. We believe in Hashem, and it's like, all right, GamZula Tova, but so GamZuli, this too is for me. So we kind of wanted that kind of association, and really with like the platform, and I'm happy to get into it, but like that's also like we want that to be the approach of people who come onto the platform. It's like, hey, like be open to this. Like, like this too is for me. Try it out, And so that like whatever, we can get into this more, but like part of the design of the platform is let's try to remove as many barriers for connection in order to help people start communicating directly as soon as possible.
Right. Yeah, Rabbi, I was gonna ask, like what makes GamZuli different than any other platform? And
Oh,
and specifically what makes it different than and that allows like a little less frustration? Because that's what it sounds like to me is like a lot of users that use it, they say that they're less frustrated on this platform. So I wanted you to just kind of share your thoughts on that too.
beautiful. So thank you. There are three main things, but probably there's more if I really think about it. First, and Max, you kind of highlighted to this. Full disclosure, Max, you are on GamZuli, so thank you very much.
Yep. Still waiting for my
ladies,
video to come out.
yeah, yes. Well, we're
I'm looking
working on
forward.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there. Matter of fact, actually, I should probably show it to you. I should send it to you. So, all right, fine, we'll get there. So the first thing I would say is the whole kind of like let's call it the questionnaire, the like you creating your profile. We wanted to make it as like really a simple process, but a thorough process. And I really think people go through this thinking, oh my gosh, you kind of really get a sense of who I am. And one of the main things is we don't really, like Max, you mentioned this before, we don't put anybody in a box. Like most of our questions are a scale. Like you pick like 1 to 5, like how much do you agree with this statement as were, or how much do you how much does this describe you? And so when everything's scaled, we really feel like you're putting a lot more emphasis on like kind of like what do you value as opposed to like, well, this is like how I fit into the box that you're pushing on to me. And so that's one thing that I really think stands out. And I'll say on top of this, like the whole questionnaire that we created, pretty much who you are and what you're looking for, a lot more questions. But like we spoke with Shatkanim when we made this, we spoke with therapists, with psychologists, other rabbis. Like there was a lot of thought that went in to just kind of like making this like initial like, hey, who are you? And we have like sections like, you're neshama, like what type of spiritual person are you? What things do you relate to in terms of spirituality? And not necessarily that we match you up based on every answer that you give, but it still gives somebody a much better sense of like who you are. So that I would say is like the first part that really I think makes us like stand out. The second thing is that we use an algorithm, and it's designed in such a way that we hope to incorporate machine learning, like AI. So there is essentially no shadchanim. I'm not behind the scenes, like matching people up on our platform. It's all basically you tell us who you are, what you're looking for, and then we will automatically give you people who fit what you have told us you want. And that way, it's like, again, like we're limiting, like there's no gatekeeper. There's no like, you have full control, as it were, of telling us what you want. And then if it's on our platform, you're going to get that match. And then lastly, the main thing is the first time that you're meeting is for a 15-minute video chat on the platform. So the idea is like, so many guys would tell me like, oh my gosh, I have to go out on a date with this girl. And that means like 2 hours on the date. I have an hour to get there, an hour to get back. That's 4 hours right there. That's my evening. Like I thought I was going to do something from 8 to 12, but like forget about it. And not that going on a date is a great thing and whatnot, but it's like you're going to do all that and you haven't even had a conversation with them. Now, again, okay, this is to have that conversation. I get it. It seems to me that we could kind of like, in the 21st century here, like, technology and everything, we can do a lot better with that. And so the idea is with a 15-minute video chat, it's not a speed date, but it's giving you enough time to see like, hey, do you have chemistry? Is this worth like, like a full out and 15 minutes, do it from the comfort of your home, do it from wherever you are. It's such a like kind of like, again, want to kind of minimize the like the barriers of connecting. It's like oh, if it's 15 minutes, maybe I'll give that a try. But if it's 2 hours, forget about it, you know? So that's kind of like whatever. So I would say those three things. Again, our questionnaire that describes who you are, the fact that we don't have any shadchanim that we run based by an algorithm, and lastly, our 15-minute video chat. And again, with all that, it's kind of like, hey, how can we empower the user through every step of this process?
Fully. And if Sarah, if I may, I want to,
Yeah.
a lot of people use the term algorithm loosely, and I want to kind of even differentiate further as to your algorithm versus what people think is an algorithm that's not actually an algorithm. So like
That's literally what I was going to ask.
In other platforms, they say that it's an algorithm, but what it really means is they ask you, do you like peanut butter? If you say yes and the other person says yes, that's considered an algorithm. Like, oh, so yes and no. A real algorithm, and Rabbi, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is you do this questionnaire, and instead of just going, you're just lining up dots, but it's actually predicting, like, a person of such a profile could actually be matched up with someone of this. Is that about accurate?
Yeah. So like, I don't want to, a lot of this, like, I want to keep like under wraps a little bit. So like, okay, you're touching on something like, I want to be like, yes, you're very good. But
Okay.
but yeah,
I think that like the users just want to make sure that it's an actual, like, useful algorithm.
No, for sure. Well, look, I'll say like this is so like I would say that like the proof's in the pudding. So look, we launched in January 2023, so it's been like a year and a half now, maybe just a tad more. And in our first year, we made the wedding didn't happen. The wedding actually has already happened, but we made a full-on shidduch, right? Meaning
Nice.
couple met and they got married, and that was just in our first year. So we're hoping that like more of that is down the road, as it were. But like, and like on top of that, like people are connecting like every week, meaning like so meaning again, not all, they're not all getting married yet, but like meaning to say, I like to say whatever we're doing, it's worked so far, and like I'm really like like encouraged that it will be continuing in that process. So like I'm excited.
Right. Are we able to touch upon another person I will not name who's also behind it, who's got a lot of credibility in the artificial intelligence world? Are we able to expound upon that?
So that's a great question. What I would suggest, look, go check out GamZuli.com, and maybe if you want to see who else is behind the scenes, it's really my wife and myself and one other very talented individual who likes to keep a low profile. So
yeah,
I'll say like
likes
this.
to keep a low profile.
I'm not going to speak about him, although I will say he is an essential part to GamZuli, and there's no way we could be where we are today without everything that he has contributed. So I'll leave it at that. For you guys who want to do your homework, go check out GamZuli.com. You'll see his name is there, but like I said, he likes to keep it low profile. So I'm not, Max, you're a good interviewer. You're pushing the buttons where like I have to be like, no, Max, please, thank you.
That's Max. That's what he does. See if we could get a little answer somewhere.
So you know
okay.
what, get him onto the podcast, all right?
Maybe we will. Maybe he's next.
There you go.
I tried getting him on the podcast. It's taking this long, and then I asked you, you're like, "Oh yeah, I come on, no problem." I'm like, "Wow, we could have done this like a year ago."
So
I did want to say, Rabbi Levi, that you did mention that the platform was also formulated with psychologists. What made you guys think of using psychologists as alongside Rebbeim as well?
So absolutely. Look, I'll say like this, like there are so many different like notions. I would almost even say like this: any good rabbi should have some sort of background in psychology. Today
Amen.
I mean, this is a whole other conversation I'm happy to have. But like, the rabbinic field and what a Jew needs from a rabbi is so, I think, more dynamic than it's ever been for so many reasons, that I really think any, rabbi needs to have like serious training, if not to know where like the psychological issues or psychological concerns come out, at least know how to identify, hey, this person, might need help that's beyond my rabbinic capabilities. And I think that, I mean, again, this is like a whole other conversation, but there are so many
Mhm.
times where people are going to rabbis as maybe the first line of help. And so we kind of want to incorporate at least a certain level of that into our platform, where we would have at least a professional psychologist having looked over these questions, saying, "Hey, what do you think? Did we hit the main things? What was your, there was a couple of them that we asked, like, what is your advice? How would like, is there anything we're missing? Anything we should add? Something that we're not taking into consideration?" I mean, I'll say like this: our questionnaire doesn't hit everything because I don't think people want it to be like a 5-hour process. But at the same time, I think we hit enough of the main things to really give people quality matches. And I'll just kind of say, we actually, right, it's called GamZuli, so we don't call them matches, we call them Zulis, right? You get your Zuli. All right, so we like to use the lingo.
Mhm. Yeah, I was reading that on your website and I was like, ooh, what's a Zuli? Like, how do I get a Zuli?
You got a Zuli.
And then I was like, oh, that's what he's calling the matches. But yeah,
That's right. You already got your Zuli, and we actually like
right.
Zuli specifically is like the matches that work out. Like so, like when it doesn't work out, we try to say it was a bad match. We never say it was a bad Zuli.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so how many countries are you guys live in?
So we're in over 20 countries right now. It's thank God it's really grown. I think it's the place to be. Like I'm really excited about it. And we're let's say between like people from the ages of 18 to, I mean, you can't be younger than 18 on the platform, to like I think 72 is our oldest user. So we have like a
Oh,
wide range. Again, of course, you're gonna tell us, what's your age range. We're not gonna give you a 72-year-old if you're,
Every
but
girl is thinking that they're like, like every girl's gotten like a guy
a
who's 53 years
19-year-old
old with
girl.
four kids, and she says no, and then they're like, "You're being too picky," whatever. So I
so
don't think you have to worry about this on this site.
one thing we do is we do ask for like ID, so that way we can like verify what you're saying about yourself. That's one of our levels of verification. We also ask for references, and yours truly often goes through and calls them up. Hey, do you know so and so? Do you know them to be a legitimate individual? Whatever it is. So like that's like another
Oh wow,
level
so
of
you
like kind of
vet a lot of the users on your platform.
yeah, we want to make sure that like what who you're meeting with is who they say they are. And I like to think that there's enough questions that like people kind of will weed out the people who aren't trying to like take this seriously. But at the same time, we want to obviously first and foremost offer a safe place for Jews to meet from Jews. And so like yeah, we do a certain level of vetting to ensure that that happens.
So so I've got a question. Have you has there been any criticism as far as anything? Like, did anyone reach out and say, "Hey, I don't like this" or "I don't like that"? What has that been like?
Um, Nothing. I'll say here. One thing that comes to mind is when, and I even forget. It was like the first week that we launched. So you can imagine we're so nervous, and it's like it's the first week, and like how's this going to be received and whatnot. Somebody like put on our Facebook page like oh, you have to like you read the fine print. They're taking all of your information and stuff like that. And my response was just like, like watch what you're signing over to these people and stuff like that. And it's just like, whoa, 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 like first off, this is the same kind of fine print that's on every one of these sites. Like we're not really different than anything else. And it was kind of just like a thank God nothing really, I think, kind of came of that. Like it really just kind of like washed over. And look, people have still been joining, so that hasn't been an issue. But going back to your question in terms of criticism, maybe I just don't want to like hear it. But I'll say, if anything, it's often like, oh, here's a feature that we would like to add, or oh, could you do this? Could you make this kind of simpler? And often my response is, if you can give me money, then I can do it. So
Okay.
so that's often
Yeah.
but
I mean,
I
that's a fair
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. I'd say probably, look, if I'll be a little bit vulnerable, I'll share a little bit more. Probably the one thing is like, why aren't I getting enough matches, like, more consistently all the time? And, to that, I'll say like, look, again, we try to like minimize the barriers for entry. It's one of the reasons why the platform is free. Like, we are literally offering you a free service. So part of me wants to say to all these people is like, it's really not that many, but like, guys, chill out. You're getting free service. Like, don't tell me yeah. But the other thing is like, we're a startup. We're very new. Most startups, if they succeed, take at least 5 years, just to get your name out, just to like get enough, users onto the platform. And this just kind of goes across the board, like it's standard, and then even if it gets 5 years, then it's like, okay, like, is it going to be like, how much is it going to be within the industry? So the way I kind of like the example I like to think of a startup, it's like you've built an airplane, maybe like one of those like Red Bull style airplanes, right? So the first question is, will it take off? Ooh, you can say yes to that. That's a huge, like, that's awesome. Now, like, we're flying, and it's like, can we take it higher? Can we go faster? Right? Like, so like, that's how I kind of view a startup. That's kind of how I look at what we're doing here. And thank God, I think we're flying. We need to take it higher. We need to go faster. But I would say like a lot of it is giving people like, hey, be patient, be with us, as it were. We're trying our best. And honestly, the more people who can like know about GamZuli and be on the platform, the better it's going to work for every user. So,
Right.
so yeah, but that's what I would say was probably, if I can think of one thing as like a main criticism, hey, I want to have more matches. And
Right.
my answer is great, get more people onto the platform.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Because I do think, like, again, like, you guys have a legitimate algorithm, and yeah, it's about, and I've always said that I'd rather get no matches than to get crappy ones. But that's my own perspective. I mean, you don't have to confirm with me, but I'm going to guess that the people that makes those complaints are women.
You know what? And that's actually not. There's two people I'm thinking of in particular. Not that I will mention names, and they are both not women, actually.
Oh,
really?
my.
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
But I won't say any more about the demographic and what it is, because I don't want to be too revealing or anything like that.
That's okay. That's okay. But the reason why I say that, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything. It just, from my experience, from everything I've learned, was that women still appreciate the fact that you're sending them a match, even if it's the worst match in the world. They feel like you're thinking of them, versus a guy, you send them a crappy match. Oh Lord. Like, it's better not to send them. Okay, maybe not to send the 53-year-old guy with 3 kids, but in general.
That really relates to me. One of the best shotconning that I have, I think she's no longer in the shotcon business. Back in the day, when I was looking to get married, she, over the course of probably about a year and a half, she gave me 2 people. I did not marry either one of them, but both of them, the first one she gave me was like so on point. Like honestly, we were just about to get engaged, and before that, like, whatever stuff happened and it didn't work out. And the second one, it ended up not working out, but she was exactly what I was looking for. So like, that's something that, like, I don't mind if you give me 2 over the course of a year and a half, if those ones are exactly what I'm looking for.
Quality matches.
And this was a great shotgun, so.
Right. 100%.
And what type of person is GamZuli like geared towards? Like, what person would thrive on this platform?
So the way that we talk about it is like, Orthodox Jews. Now, what does that mean? Look, we're not measuring skirt lengths or asking like, what you do with your dishes or anything like that. But I would say if you keep Shabbos, if you keep kosher, that is who we're looking for. I'm not asking guys, do you pray 3 times a day with a minion? I've definitely seen profile pictures of, people wearing all sorts of, different clothing, as it were, maybe some more modest and some not, for guys and for girls. But I would definitely say that it all falls underneath that general category of Orthodox Jews. And when I say Orthodox Jews, I mean like, yeah, maybe like, more like liberal Orthodox, but we also have like Hasidim from Borough Park, so there is a wide range, of Orthodox Jews, of people who keep Shabbos and keep kosher. And truthfully, based on like what you're looking for, not you're not going to get the Hasidish guy on the platform, or the Breslov guy on the platform, or the Yeshivish guy on the platform, or you fill in the blank if it's kind of like not what you tell us what you're looking for. Certainly, the Hashkafa is one of the sections that we ask, and so that's something that helps us like kind of calibrate what we're going to give you. But I would say all Orthodox Jews. One day we actually want to make it for all Jews, period. But we really want to start with the Orthodox community. That's just what we're familiar with. That's what we really kind of like want to like, kind of like be a part of. And then, with success there, open it up to more and more. But so I would say if you are an Orthodox Jew, and you are, single, be on the platform. And that's whether you're, 20 or whether you are 50 or whether you're 70. And whatever background that you may have, if you're getting married for the first time, if you're, getting married for the second, third, fourth, I don't know, maybe if you're getting married like 5 or 6 times, maybe there's other questions going on there, but okay. It's for every Orthodox Jew.
That sounds great. It sounds like a great platform. And I really hope people jump on the opportunity to sign up and to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more people can know about it, in my mind, that's what I think is like, what we need to be doing now, because I think it's a great platform. I really believe in it. It works. It's just a matter of letting people know about it. Yeah. And it's so funny when you're advertising anything, they say or whatever, there's, you talk to whatever marketing guru, they'll tell you a little bit different answers. But what I've heard is you need 3 touch points with a product before you actually buy it. So just think about like, I don't know, you see a pair of shoes that you want to buy. So first, like, like you look at online, but you're not going to buy it yet. And then you think about it for a week, and then maybe you see somebody wear it. Oh, you like those shoes? How do they work? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then like, maybe you see another ad for it and then you buy it. So it's kind of like, alrighty, and that's when you're spending money. GamZuli, we're free, so it's like, okay, but still you need to hear about it. Oh, my friend joined. Yeah, I heard about it on the podcast. Oh yeah, right. I saw it over here. Boom. Then you'll come on. So I think the more that we can just spread the word about it, I think people just don't know about it. And I think the more people know about it, the more it's going to grow. And then that's just going to create more Zulis.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Rabbi Levi. We really appreciate your time and effort coming on to the podcast. And where should people sign up if they want to follow you? Do you guys have social media? You guys want to say your...
Yeah, absolutely. So really like come join us on GamZuli. That's GamZuli.com. So you can go to our website, and it's a very simple process. You can follow us on Instagram. We're at my GamZuli, and Facebook, YouTube. We're out there. You just put in the word GamZuli, GamZuli. You're going to find us. And yeah, follow, join, share with people. Get the main idea is just get your friends on it, get their friends on it. If everybody tells another person, it's just going to grow. And hey, maybe we got the answer to whatever problems people say there are in the shidduch world.
Right. Right. So, and again, like if you don't want to deal with Shadchanim, this is definitely a great alternative to that. And again, it's free, literally free. So it makes no sense.
What's the harm? Like, just sign up. Like, what's the harm?
There you got
if anything, it's just helping yourself. You're just helping yourself.
the way I like to say it, when I'm filming out here, it's like give Hashem another way to get you married. All righty, here's if you're on this, that's just another way Hashem can find to give you your besheret. So,
There you
there you
go.
go. There you go.
Awesome. Yep.
Well, it's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much, Rabbi Levi. And thank you guys for listening. And until next time, we will see you. Bye.
And remember, everything will always be about shidduchim. Catch you in the next episode.